Hello, and welcome to Small Town Big Screen, Episode 3. I'm one of your hosts, Kyle Robertson.
I'm Manny Manuel.
And we are here today to discuss TheA-Team, another local Kamloops movie, made in the area partially, and we're here to talk about it.
Okay. So, TheA-Team, released on July 11, 2010, directed by Joe Carnahan, written by Joe Carnahan and Brian Bloom and Skip Woods, based off characters created by Frank Lupo and Stephen J. Cannell, starring Liam Neeson, Bradley Cooper, Quentin Jackson, Jessica Biel, and Charlotte Courtley. Has a Metascore of 47, a Letterboxd score of 2.8. Awards and nominations, it was nominated for a Teen Choice Award for Best Summer Movie. Mm-hmm. It also, the filming locations are in Cold Lake, Alberta, Surrey, BC, Coquitlam, BC, Cache Creek, parts of it in Ashcroft as well, and of course, Kamloops, British Columbia. The plot, a group of Iraq War veterans look to clear their name with the U.S. military, who suspect the four men of committing a crime for which they were framed. This film, based off a TV show I watched growing up. Kyle, give us your spoiler-free thoughts on TheA-Team.
So, really quick, you missed a nomination in the awards section.
I just chose not to choose a whole bunch of them.
Well, you missed one that I want to include.
Fun.
Was also nominated for Hardest Hit at the Taurus Stunt Actors Awards.
The Tourist?
Taurus, like the bull.
Oh, the Taurus.
The horns.
Taurus, okay.
Yeah.
Never heard of them.
Yeah. I just thought it was cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. My spoiler-free thoughts on TheA-Team. So I had seen this before. Mm-hmm. Going into it was, I think I was just in like the exact mood you need to be in for TheA-Team. I used to watch the original series back with my grandpa when I was like preteen. I think I started, and we would watch. Depending on how long he was visiting, we would watch when he visited, and then eventually my grandparents moved in to our place, and we used to watch frequently together, TheA-Team, the original A-Team.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, I already liked the IP quite a bit, and weirdly enough, had some nostalgia attached to it.
That's shocking.
Why?
I never even thought that you would have seen the TV show.
Interesting. Yes, I watched, not the whole thing. I watched a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the show ended like a decade before you were born, so the fact that you watched it is very shocking to me.
Yeah.
What about Knight Rider? Did you watch Knight Rider?
I've seen a couple episodes of Knight Rider.
Okay.
Yeah. We used to watch Columbo as well, me and my grandpa.
Okay.
Yeah. That one's from
my mind is literally blown right now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Let me do you one better. One of my ex-girlfriends used to watch I Love Lucy regularly on DVD because her family didn't really watch modern movies or television or anything. So everything was MASH, I Love Lucy, and a couple others from the same era.
Well, MASH and I Love Lucy are two of the greatest TV shows ever made. TheA-Team not.
Excuse me.
You're excused.
I would argue that TheA-Team is actually pretty good.
Okay. All right.
But I went into this. I got what I wanted out of it. I went into it, obviously having already seen it, you know what you're getting. But I was just in the perfect mood to, be a little silly. Here's some one-liners, have some fun, just enjoy myself watching a movie. And, we've talked about this pretty much every episode now. In fact, definitely every episode now. Seeing Kamloops never gets old on film. And obviously this is a big budget movie for what we usually get around here. And, it was nice to see. It's only for the most part playing as Mexico. And I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was well used. It looked cool. I of course, like it's one of our most popular filming destinations. But I always love when people film out at Tranquil. It just feels like it's got that family connection for me that we've discussed previously, and I have a lot of fun with it. So I had a lot of fun with that. I like all of the actors that were in it except for Quentin Jackson. I had no experience with, so this being my only experience with him, I like him in this. I just don't know. I don't even know if he's done anything else, to be honest.
Neither do I, actually.
Yeah,
I highly doubt it.
Yeah, but Bradley Cooper, Liam Neeson, Jessica Biel, Charlotte Copley. I like all of them regularly. So
that's right, because you haven't seen District 9, is that correct?
Haven't seen District 9. Okay. Yeah, I should have watched it in prep for these last couple episodes because there's a lot of crossover.
A little bit.
I didn't, so we're here. Yeah.
Well,
anyway,
sure.
How about you?
Okay, so I'd never seen this movie before.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Why would I? But I have massive nostalgia for the A-Team. Growing up, I watched the A-Team a lot. But when it was on, so I was a young boy, like pre-teen. So back then, I thought it was the coolest show ever.
Yeah.
And then I revisited it like in my 20s, and it's not the coolest show ever. It's in fact very bad. Very, very bad. I'm glad that you had fun with it. Don't get me wrong.
I haven't revisited it since my preteens, as you're saying. Maybe I will.
Don't. If you keep it in that nostalgia safe zone where it holds a special place in your heart, it will stay there. Because that's what it was for me. Okay. And then after watching it as an adult, it cracked open a little bit, and my heart is now broken.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. So I went into this movie with pretty low expectations, and they were met. This movie is not good. Not good at all. It's a lot of fun. It's not offensive, and not in the term that most people use, offensive nowadays, where it could get canceled. What I just mean that there's nothing really wrong with it. It's just there's nothing great about it. There are some things that I enjoy, but there's a lot that I don't. Much like the show itself, the plot is razor thin. Razor thin, and you have to suspend a lot of disbelief and logic for any of this to string together in any coherent way.
Isn't that like pretty much any like action movie though?
Not quite. There's some that are sure, but they're better than this. And it's just these people work in the military and they're making very stupid decisions. And yeah, that happens a lot in movies. But when the movie's entertaining, you can let that go. This was not entertaining. This movie was bad.
Okay.
Bad. Bradley Cooper is devastatingly handsome in this. That is a very attractive man.
Yeah.
And as the listeners will, and viewers, I keep forgetting, will find out in the peek behind the curtain, he was very popular while he was here in town. And it's easy to see why. This is right as Bradley's starting to become a star. And in this movie, he's playing that character of Face perfectly, exactly the way you want that character to do. The best part about him is that he actually looks like Dierks Bentley, the guy who originally played him.
Yeah.
But takes it to a whole other level. Bradley Cooper is the highlight of this movie by running away.
Yeah.
Running away. Like you're like, that's a movie star. Quentin Jackson is somebody that, as a former UFC fan, now I wish I could say I'm a fan. I just don't have the time to watch it and follow it, and I miss it terribly. But at this time, this was right along the height of his popularity as a fighter. He was a great fighter. He was fun to watch, but so entertaining on the mic.
Nice.
I would repeat some of his quotes, but we can't. He was okay. The problem being is that he's taking over for Mr. T. And Mr. T is just electric on screen. So that's some big shoes to fill in. Liam Neeson, I like Liam Neeson as an actor. I always really liked Hannibal. I don't know who my favorite character is because all four of them are great characters.
Yeah.
I can tell you as a kid, Murdoch was the best.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
He's not the best in this one. He's the worst. Sharlto Copley is atrocious.
Wow.
He is not funny. I did not laugh at any of the things that he did. I found him to be annoying. I found him to be grating and irritating.
Huh.
He was trying too hard for me, and it didn't fly. Now, if I was 12, I probably would have loved him, but I'm not. I'm 48. Doesn't work for me.
I completely disagreed.
Perfect.
In my thoughts.
That makes me happy.
I liked them a lot.
I'm glad.
That speaks to brain age over here.
It doesn't. It just shows just a difference in what we find funny. And
fair.
That is great because I found him so irritating is what dropped my enjoyment of the film.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jessica Biel didn't know she was even in this movie. So when she showed up, I was very pleasantly surprised. And it's always a nice reminder how incredibly attractive that woman is. She is a complete smoke show. And carries herself fairly well in this movie.
I think she does well in this movie. Yeah.
She's not bad. She's not great, but she's not bad. So, yeah, perfect for what the movie is.
Yeah.
I don't have the actor's name, but whoever played the villain, not the CIA guy whose name is going to escape me. That's going to bother me.
We're in non-spoilers.
Yeah, the main. I see what you're saying. CIA's bad in every movie.
Yeah. I'm just everything else you're about to say.
Yeah, well, that's true. Well, I don't know the actor's name.
Yeah.
The main person they run up against.
Yeah.
Physically.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Very evil.
Yes.
Yeah. I was impressed.
Yeah.
I just didn't. No, it was not for me. Not for me. Not for me. It's a very. If you're looking for a stupid action film, it's right up your alley. I could recommend 1,000 better ones. But I didn't realize. Yeah, this is no spoilers. I didn't realize how little was actually filmed in Kamloops. I was always under the assumption more of our area was in this movie. And so as the movie was progressing along, I realized, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to get any more of Kamloops. And it made me sad.
Yeah.
Because that always gave me something to look forward to in some of the movies. Like, ooh, what shot of the city do I get to see next? And there wasn't any.
Yeah.
And it made me sad. But, yeah, the movie's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. On that incredibly positive note, our 5 favorite things.
Yeah.
Our 5 favoriteest things.
Yeah.
You want to start?
Sure. Number 5 is the actor Gerald McRaney. He plays General Morrison. He was on a show from the 80s called Simon and Simon. And seeing him immediately brought me joy.
Nice.
Because I love that show. Now, I couldn't tell you from memory what Simon and Simon was about, except I believe it's about 2 brothers who solve crimes together.
Okay.
And he's one of the brothers. I believe their last names are Simon. And I just remember loving that show. I always liked him, kind of like a little bit gruff. I think he suited the character well. And he had decent enough chemistry with Liam Neeson where you believe that they were old friends. Mm-hmm. So seeing him, I rarely ever get to see him. I don't know if he's working a lot in TV or something, but he's barely in any movies, at least movies that I've seen.
You gotta expand your horizons.
No, I don't.
I've seen him in a fair amount of stuff. He does really well in comedy, actually.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like what? If you say Step Brothers, I'll slap your face.
None of the names are in my head right now.
Okay.
But he's a very recognizable actor to me.
Okay.
Character actor, I would say, maybe.
Cool. Well, I'll
But,
take a.
yeah.
I'll take a peek at his IMDb when you're talking about your thing here to see if I recognize. But he's
The movies may not be good, but he is good. Definitely. Like I distinctly had the same reaction. I saw him and I was like, I like that guy.
sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my number 5.
Nice.
What's your number 5?
My number 5 is the plethora of one-liners throughout the movie.
Oh no.
I love them.
No.
It's my fifth favorite thing. I found them funny, and they're constant. They're everywhere, and they're even little tiny throwaway background audio things that you're probably not even meant to hear first time around. But I think this is my second or third time watching this, and it's like every time I listen, there's another funny joke that I've missed previously. At least I think it's funny. My favorite line, hard to say this is a one-liner, but it is one line, and I liked it a lot. This is when Quentin Jackson says, "Old habits may die hard, but they've still got to die." I thought that was nice
Okay.
and well delivered.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But in general, the one-liners, mostly the comedic ones, but that was my favorite. We'll just kind of slot it into one-liner, even though it's not a real one-liner.
Okay. I think what I need to do is to watch a comedy with you so I can see your genuine reactions to things that I don't find funny at all. To hear you giggle and laugh and chortle at things that just make me go like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be fun. I would enjoy that.
Yeah, you would. As would I. As would
I
I.
think it would be funnier if you don't find it funny.
Like
100%.
this movie. Like this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting like a post increase in enjoyment having watched this and knowing you didn't like it and had to watch it.
That seems to be a theme with you. Interesting. Lucky this is a PG-rated show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm protected. Wait, you're number 4.
My number 4 is Rampage Jackson as B.A. Baracus.
Nice.
It's a character I loved. I loved all the characters in the show, but obviously with Mr. T at the helm, it was one that always stood out. I loved him as the character. It's a little bit different take because he's not as gruff as Mr. T, but let's be honest, it's hard to be that tough. What I did love is how they brought back or incorporated his fear of flying into the show, which was a big part of the show. Mm-hmm. So bringing it into the movie was fun. I was okay with how they introduced it because the helicopter scene where he almost falls out, that gives him his fear of flying. Mm-hmm. That's fine. And then that also doubles as why he doesn't like Murdoch that much. So, like, not their animosity, because the animosity only runs one way, because Murdoch loves Baracus. So, B.A. being annoyed constantly by Murdoch, I didn't find it worked as well in the movie as it did in the show. But the show ran for so many seasons, it had the chance to kind of build it and then perfect it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I didn't find it quite as good, but I found that Rampage did a better job acting than I was expecting. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he's good.
Okay.
He's not a good actor.
Yeah.
He's not bad.
I think,
he's close.
He would have been really good in the new Roadhouse movie, I bet. Should have thrown him in there. We can leave that.
Wow.
Just use Manny's face as a guide to what you think he would say if we continued. Anyway, my 4th favorite thing. Also an actor. And it's Sharlto Copley.
Oh, my sweet baby Jeebus.
As Murdoch. Murdoch, when I used to watch the show with my grandpa, was my favorite character, for sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes Face, but pretty much through the whole run, on average, mostly Murdoch. Very much enjoyed Charlton Copley as Murdoch in this, contrary to your opinion. But I thought he brought the right energy. I thought that he had good comedic timing, and I thought that he was good comedic relief as a character throughout. And obviously his whole thing is is he crazy? Is he not? Is he something in between? Is he a secret genius? I thought he played that quite well, and I had fun with it. I had fun with the character.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I couldn't disagree more.
Wow.
I'll leave it at that. It makes me happy that you got enjoyment from it, because that means that you got to enjoy the movie a lot more than I did, because I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
He's a big part of it.
Sure is.
Yeah, he's about a quarter of the A-Team.
Smart.
Thanks. Yeah.
You are purposely pushing my buttons.
You're number 3. Into your podium.
The music. Now, not the score, the incorporation of the original A-Team theme every once in a while. Sneaking it in there every once in a while. Every time it played, it brought a smile to my face.
Nice.
The rest of the score, honestly, forgettable. Not great, but not bad. Just, it did its job.
Yeah.
Because it heightened the action. I'm not going to say it heightened any dramatic scenes, because there were none. But it did its job for what it was supposed to do. But when the A-Team theme played every single time, immediately my heart filled with joy.
Nice.
I love that theme. It's probably my top 5 favorite TV themes.
Nice.
When it comes to just themes. Like not songs for TV shows. Because they used to have intro songs. Like, number 1 song by far is Cheers. Running Away. Like, Running Away. But theme, that. Miami Vice.
Nice.
Magnum P.I. Those would be the big 3 right there.
Okay.
So yeah, it's definitely top 5.
I also watched some Magnum P.I.
I love Magnum P.I. I love Magnum P.I. so much.
I forget what the channel was called. There's a channel that it was like the golden something.
Okay.
But it used to play like all of that era of shows back in like,
sure,
2015.
Cool.
Ish
Right.
era. It might still be around.
But
that's what I watched it all on.
I don't want to watch them because I'm scared that they will be bad, like I did with the A-Team.
So fair. Yeah. Part of the problem is television has come so far, even in just like the last 10 years. It has come so far.
Yeah.
Past.
This is the golden age of television.
Yeah, like it's not the same game anymore. Like at that time you're making this completely different type of art, and it just didn't get as much attention, I would say, as film did.
Yeah.
And now it does, like, minute to minute, get the same amount of attention or more even.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So
my music, number 3.
Nice.
Your number 3.
My number 3, the general casting, the casting director, I think smashed it for this.
Okay.
I thought that all 4 of the A-Team members were just like, they were perfect for that.
Not disagree.
Like, Liam Neeson was the only one that stood out a little bit to me.
Stood out in a good way.
No.
Oh, no.
Like, I mean more in the physicality.
Gotcha.
Like, matching the previous A-Team actors.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So you're talking about physical representation.
I'm talking about both, but
Okay.
that's why Liam Neeson stood
But Charlton
out.
Copley was horrible.
Yeah, I disagree. I thought he was really good.
No.
So yeah, my number 3 is the casting. I think they did a really good job putting an A-Team together that is faithful to like the original A-Team in physicality and in spirit.
Okay, looking at in physicality, I can understand Liam Neeson. He's a little too physically imposing.
Yeah, he's just bigger.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And he also
they did a good job making him like, doing his hair, like dyeing his hair the way they did and all that. Like they did a good job getting him there. But yeah.
I think the problem is that we all know from Liam Neeson's the majority of his movies how much of a physically intimidating person he can be. He's a BA, much like B.A. Baracus.
Yeah.
And so Hannibal in the show, from what I remember, not that much into physicality. He's what he is in the movie. He's the brains of the operation. He's the one that puts the plans together. And so I found him a little, because he's so, I think he's like 6'4" or 6'6".
He's a big dude.
He's a big dude. So I found him a little too physically imposing for that role. Acting wise, I think he did just fine for that role. I agree. In regards to casting, he's the only one that does kind of stand out. They could have picked, I don't know off the top of my head who I would have. Actually, I do know. They would have had to age him up a little bit. George Clooney would have been perfect as Hannibal Smith.
Oh, yeah. George Clooney would have been really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But then you're just kind of dipping into it's just Danny Ocean again.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying that Liam Neeson did a bad job. And as much as I am poo-pooing on Sharlto Copley, he does play the character of Murdoch the way that the character is on TV. So I agree the casting is great. I just don't like his performance.
So you're saying...
Hold on. I'll pump the brakes on that. Let me retract that.
Yeah.
His performance as Murdoch matches the TV show perfectly.
Gotcha.
I just didn't find him funny.
Gotcha.
That's what it is. I am poking fun at your enjoyment of him because it's fun to poke at one another back and forth.
Yeah.
I just didn't find him funny.
Gotcha.
At all. I like all the jokes that you loved. I just stared blankly at the screen. I'm like, cool.
So, do you have the same reaction to like the OG Murdoch?
I have not. I don't want to watch the show.
Okay.
So
I was hoping you would remember when you watched it in your 20s.
No. I watched one episode and I was like, I'm not doing this again. It broke my heart so bad because that show is not good. It's not good. It worked for its time.
Yeah.
Exactly what it's supposed to be. But when you, as a preteen boy, see this show with guns and explosions and cars flipping and all that, you think it's the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what good acting is.
You don't need to.
And then when you watch it as an adult who has loved film, who has, in that time since, grown and appreciated the love of cinema and the art of filmmaking and incredible acting, and you go back and watch this, it is an assault on the senses. You're like, that is bad. It is like going out for like incredibly chef-prepared cuisine and then going to McDonald's. You might enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it ain't good.
Okay.
So, yeah, I watched one episode of TheA-Team in my 20s. I have not revisited the show since because I'm terrified of, again, that special place in my heart has cracks in it now. And I don't want it to crack anymore because my memories of the A-Team are pristine. Or I can't say they're pristine because they got cracks.
Yeah.
Used to be pristine.
I'm going to keep mine where they are then.
I'm glad. If you end up revisiting it, let me know.
Yeah.
And hopefully you don't have the same reaction I did.
Yeah.
That being said, Sharlto Copley does play the character well. I just didn't find it funny.
Gotcha.
Did I find Murdoch funny when I was 10? Sure did. If I was 10, would I find Sharlto Copley funny? Sure would. But I'm 48. Not funny.
I am still 10.
That's cool.
So,
yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I'm fully aware. Who are we at?
It's your number 2.
My number 2.
Your number 2.
My number 2 is Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper is unbelievable in this movie.
Okay.
This is the ascension into superstardom. Watching this, because I'm pretty sure this is pre-Hangover. Yeah, pretty close.
Wait. No.
No?
This is post-Hangover, pre-Hangover 2, I think.
Ugh. Well, the Hangover 2 is garbage.
I could be wrong, but I
Just
think.
quickly check.
Yeah.
This is the year after. Hangover's
go.
the year after.
I'm becoming you.
this is so The Hangover is what launches him into stardom, and this was supposed to be another vehicle on his ascension. This was a little speed bump because this didn't help him at all. It didn't hurt him, thankfully, and it's easy to see why, because he is the best part of this movie. The part
Second best, apparently.
And you'll find out why he's only number 2.
Okay.
Okay. He's the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
And it is easy to see why the man becomes a superstar. He is so incredibly charismatic on screen. He plays this character better than the original guy did. When I was watching the show as a kid, I never really, out of the 4, Face would have been number 4. But it was always kind of a character when you're a young boy to kind of look up to, because he always got the girl.
Yeah.
He always smooth talked to everybody. And Bradley Cooper takes that role and amps it up even more. He is so charming. He's very funny. He's very charismatic. He is like devastatingly handsome. He is so hot in this movie. I was like, wow. Good on you, Bradley Cooper. I was having a really good time every time he was on screen. He has decent chemistry with Jessica Biel. It's not electric. It's, again, my first time watching it. So my expectations of a Bradley Cooper romance is like him and Lady Gaga, which is off the charts. Incredible.
That's a lot to ask.
It is. But if that's what you're looking for, if that's what you're used to, you want the same.
Yeah.
Now, that's nothing against Jessica Biel. The movie's not about the two of them getting together.
Yeah.
Right? Unlike A Star is Born.
Yeah.
But Bradley Cooper is really great. He's having so much fun. You could tell that he was just having a blast. And he was one of the highlights of the movie for me. I really enjoyed Bradley Cooper. He's my number 2.
Nice.
Your number 2.
My number 2. My number 2. Kind of riding the coattails of the casting.
Okay.
But I went with the relationship between the A-Team members. I thought that they all played off of each other really well. Thought that they all played the original relationships, like the kind of the vibe and intent of the original relationships between the 4 of them very well. I thought it was well set up, the whole Murdoch and Baracus thing. Thought that relationship was set up well and worked well, and it's one of the highlights of the show, so it became not necessarily a highlight, but a high point of the movie for me was watching them interact with each other.
Okay.
I can see how you might disagree if you didn't like Charlton Copley's Murdoch.
Understand.
Yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought that they all interacted well. I thought that Bradley Cooper, as Face, he like looked up to Hannibal as much as he's expected to, and Hannibal was, I think, like Liam Neeson really provided that like guiding, teaching force a little bit.
What a shocker, Liam Neeson in a mentor role.
Yeah, I think he did really well. But this is why, like, the casting's on my list. The relationships are on my list. Like, I think the core A-Team is, like, some of the best parts of this movie, personally.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. What's your number 1?
My number 1.
What unseats Bradley Cooper?
It's the post-credit scene.
Yeah, I kind of thought so.
Yeah. It's Dirk Bentley and Dwight Schultz showing up, not to reprise their characters, but to give us cameos. I was looking for the cameos in the movie, and when they didn't show up, I was honestly let down.
Yeah.
Like, I was pretty disappointed.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know there was a post-credit scene, and I just happened to skip the credits button.
Oh.
And then the scene started, and I literally lost my mind.
Nice.
I was so happy to see Dirk Bentley come out of that tanning bed. And I was like, oh. And then after that, I was like, oh, please tell me. And then Dwight Schultz shows up as that doctor assessing Murdoch. I was like, you guys just made me the happiest person in the world.
Yeah.
It's the same thing like the nostalgia factor. When they did show the van at the beginning, I wish the van was incorporated more. I was actually pretty let down.
Yeah.
Like, significantly.
I thought it was funny.
I thought it was funny?
Yeah. I mean, like, movies that are like remaking an older IP and restarting it, rebooting it, reboots.
Okay.
They ride this tough line where you have to, appease the nostalgia and also be different. So I like when they do stuff like that to be different, like just obliterate the nostalgia, and then a big part of the rest of the movie is A-Team nostalgia. So I think I like to see it because, I mean, to be honest, it's pleasing both crowds regardless. Like, not that exact instance, but the movie itself, you're trying to please both sides. You're never going to please both sides. So I like when they do something crazy to the nostalgia crowd to be like this isn't going to be.
You don't have nostalgia yet because you're such a baby.
Well, I
can't wait until you're around my age and they start messing around with stuff that means stuff to you.
I just think it's kind of annoying to write off movies because they don't fit into your exact perception of them 30 years ago.
I didn't write off the movie because
I'm not
of
saying
that.
you. I'm saying the grander you. I just think it's a dumb reason to write off a movie is nostalgia, and people do it all the time. So I like when they get a little gut punch, and it's not like there's no nostalgia in the rest of the movie. So
yeah.
It's
my pushback on that is that the van is a major part of the show.
Huge, yeah.
Major.
I hear you.
And so not having a piece of iconography? Iconography.
Yeah.
What was the other word I was having trouble with a while ago? Anyways, do you remember? I couldn't say it.
I can't remember.
It's virulent. Virulent.
Oh.
Virulent. Virulent?
I don't even want to give that a go right now.
Yeah, it was messing me up. It's in a board game I was playing, and I was embarrassed. I spent about 20 minutes trying to say it right. Couldn't do it. Anyways, iconography of the show is the van. It'd be similar, in my opinion, to making a Ghostbusters movie without the Ecto-1.
Same vein, different levels, though, I would say. Yeah. But yeah.
And so I understand why you feel that way. I have to disagree.
That's fair.
With something that is such a major part of the show and so iconic, to just have a glimpse of it and then not include it in the rest of the show was a letdown for me. Did it not get points because of it? Nah. There's plenty of other things that were knocking down points for me besides the lack of the van. But, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. What was your number one?
I didn't say it yet.
Okay.
Yeah. The opening scene, all the camera stuff, everything in Mexico, all the way up to like breaking Murdoch out, all of that. I just had a lot of fun with it. It felt like a contained episode.
There you go. So the Mexico / it's in Kamloops.
Yeah, number one, 100%. I enjoyed that so much. It felt like an A-Team episode. It felt like Kamloops stuff. Just, I enjoy Kamloops stuff. I enjoy the A-Team. Had a lot of fun. Enjoy stuff that's shot at Trunkiel. I mean, this is all, like, we're beating the horse here. These are some of my favorite things that come out of Kamloops movies. Is Trunkiel, the landscape, and a little bit of nostalgia. Got that in Power Rangers as well.
Cool.
So I had fun with that. Really enjoyed it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The next part is, what didn't we like?
What didn't you like, Manny?
Well, I led with what I did like. You should lead
I
with
will
what we
lead.
didn't.
I think that this movie, you've already said it. The plot is razor thin.
Yeah.
It's missing that nice connective tissue that feeds through everything and connects everything. Like, there's some things there. There's some little pieces, but they're not plot related. It's like they reference a line of dialogue later kind of thing. And that's nice, but it doesn't take place of the meat of a real, like, I'm not going to say story, because the story of like it kind of was the story of an A-Team episode. But the meat just wasn't there. So that was my big detractor.
My Charlotte Copley. Running away. Like, not even close. It was easily the thing I enjoyed the least. I didn't find him funny. I didn't find his jokes funny. I found him annoying. A recast of him and a little work of the script, and this would have been an A+ team for me.
Wow.
But yeah, he's no bueno, as I like to say. Wow. No bueno. Yeah.
Okay.
But I've already said my piece. No need to to rain on him some more.
I will once again mention that I disagree with you. And now we can move on.
That's cool.
So, now we are going to take a little peek behind the curtain with our special guest, Ryan Cavanagh.
All right, welcome to a peek behind the curtain on the A-Team. We have our guest, Ryan Cavanagh, with us today. Thanks, Ryan, for joining us.
Happy to.
Awesome. Did I say your last name right?
You did.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Well, wasn't sure. I was like, I think that's how he said it when he was spelling it. Perfect. Well, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate your time. How did you become involved with the production of the A-Team?
It was one of those situations. It was a friend of a friend. Was desperately looking for work, and a buddy of mine who was also out of work was in a program, and a buddy of his got a job on there, who got him a job on there, and I was super jealous that he was working on the A-Team because I watched the movies. I watched the TV show as a kid, and I've always wanted to work on a set, and so I was bugging him for about a week and a half. And this is when they were filming over at the Tronquil property. So I was bugging him, asking him questions. He finally was able to get me in there. So I was locations. I was production assistant. I mean, I was the bottom guy on the sheet, but I had a blast. I'm glad I did it.
Nice. So what were some of the jobs that you did, like as a production assistant and basically as a grunt, as you like to call it?
Yeah, I mean, I was really lucky that I got to be the rover. So I got to, wherever they needed me, I would go over. I'd work for a little thing that they needed me somewhere else. I go across. My buddy who got me the job was stuck at the front gate, and he was there for 15 to 16 hours a day. And he literally just sat there with his book. He'd either let you in or he wouldn't let you in, and he'd mark it when people went out. But I got to go all over the place. So when they were setting up stunts, when I worked with the second unit out in Ashcroft, when they did the van jump, and then they were throwing the tires down the like when Bradley Cooper's character goes down the hillside and it's on fire, I was the one at the bottom of the hill making sure that no one would be walking up. So, but like whatever job they gave me, but mine was the best job because I literally got to go over everywhere.
Oh, that's awesome.
So anytime I needed to, I could stop at craft services, which was also nice.
How was craft services?
It was terrific. Nice. It was funny though, because it was different when I first got there. So I had been desperate without work for quite a while. So one of the best things about that job was getting fed, because they had the catering truck there, and you get there at 5 a.m. You're the first ones there. You're literally setting up the propane lighters for all the rest of the tents for everybody else. But they feed you really well. So the catering there, and then you could tell when the second unit was here and all the stars had left. The catering was still good, but it wasn't as good. But yeah, fantastic food.
Awesome. So did you get to meet any of the cast?
Well, the very first day, they had me say, go in this room here and make sure that no one comes through this door. So I literally go stand in this room by myself, and I'm staring at the door that I just came through, because I'm not allowed to let anybody in. What I didn't realize was coming through the other door was Liam Neeson and Rampage Jackson. They were finishing their scene. So I'm staring at the one door. The door behind me opens, and I wasn't told anything about the door behind me. I was just like, don't let anybody come through here. So I just got kind of surprised. I turn around, and it's Liam Neeson and Rampage Jackson, and I literally just, my jaw dropped. And he just made eye contact and then looked away. And I said nothing. Yeah. So I got to see all of them. Bradley Cooper, when he would go from this trailer to the set, he literally always had an entourage of very attractive women who worked on the movie, who were all laughing at his jokes. That guy is incredibly charming and good looking in real life.
Yeah.
Just shockingly so. And then same thing, my first day there, Charlotte Copley was talking with the producer. And he's having this conversation with the producer. He's like, how can he be a ranger and a helicopter pilot? He just didn't. He was like, for that, it didn't work for me. He's like, he can't be a ranger and a helicopter pilot. And the producer was like, no, this is what it is. It was all good. And then I got to be the one to clean up his mess in the mess tent. Nice. So I looked down, and he got up, they pulled him to set, so I just went over there and threw his garbage out. And then either him or Rampage Jackson had left the sides out. They left the little scene for the day. So I waited until later on, and they said clean everything up. So I took that home. That was my souvenir.
Nice.
If I still had it, I would have brought it tonight.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
I'm
Thank
sorry.
you. No, that's all right. That's still pretty awesome. Did you ever get to talk to or work with the director at all?
I only went to go hunting for him once. They said try to find him because they need him on set, and I just saw him from afar, but I never actually interacted with him at all. And I just missed Ridley Scott.
One of the producers.
So he was one of the producers. I didn't even know he had come to Kamloops.
Neither did I.
And I literally walked through this one section, and his Mercedes was leaving, and they're like, "That was Ridley Scott." That would have been so cool.
Oh, that would have been so cool. Just to see him would have been. I would have been. Out of everyone in that's the one I would have been the most excited to see.
Yeah.
Awesome. What was your favorite part about working on the movie? Besides craft services.
Yeah. You know what? It was just a fantastic view of something that I'm glad I only did for a short period of time. My shortest day was 15 hours. My longest day was 19 hours. Literally the second or third day in, the swelling on my feet was so bad I had these blisters on my on my toes that were the size of grapes.
Oh.
And so I'd get home at like 10:30 at night, and I have to get up at 5 or like 4:30 to get back out there. And I remember getting up and literally lancing those just so I could put my shoes on to go back out there.
Jeez.
But it was an actual adrenaline high just to be go, 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 because it was super exciting. One of my favorites was actually talking to the guys who are rigging up the AC unit that drops on the van. So because I was roving, sometimes I didn't have anything specific to do. So these guys were over there rigging something up. So I came in and I said, "Hey, what are you guys working on?" And I'm like, "Oh, this air conditioner is going to drop on the van." And I was disappointed to hear that because I was so excited to see the van.
Me too.
I think it was the first night, and it was dark because this is actually over 15 years ago now, because it was September 2009 that I worked on it.
Yep.
I was out at the Tronquil property, and they sent me over in this one area, and then I just turned around, and there was 4 of the A-Team vans. And there was literally the first one's like a picture car, so it looks terrific. And they got worse and worse and worse as you went down. And it's because they were testing stuff for camera when they were doing the jump. They had this one, the last one was just, obviously it was just a spray can job, black, and then a wooden red piece, for the wing and all that. But getting to see that was an absolute thrill.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And one of the producers was pulling my leg because he was like, "Don't take any pictures of that. There's gonna be no cell phone pictures of the van." And he's like, "And you don't even know." He's like, "You wait till you see the new van. Wait till you see the new van." And when I went and saw the movie, there was no new van.
I know.
So I was like waiting to see. Okay, like they made a deal with whoever the manufacturer was, come out with a new van, and nothing. I don't know. He was just an oddball.
Oh well.
Or maybe they were still in the middle of reshooting or rewriting things, and there was a plan for a van that never came together.
Possible.
So, what parts of town did you guys shoot in?
The parts that I was on were at the Tronquil property. So they were filming. They were in the actual hospital to film the scenes that take place in the hospital. But the roof of the hospital was actually the old school. So we're going to get up there because that one could support the weight. And that one. And then the rest of the shooting was outside on the way to between Ashcroft and Cache Creek. Beautiful property, way in the back hills. So everything had to look like Mexico, right? So that was the only part that I worked on, was the opening scene of the movie.
Nice.
So yeah, but beautiful area.
And how long were they shooting in those areas?
So I came on I think they were already 2 weeks in. So I only got to work a week on the main unit. And I actually only been 4 days, and then I did about a week on the second unit out in Ashcroft. That was fun because it was a different vibe. Everybody is very serious when you're rolling for the main unit because sound's involved. So, you've got the people doing the rolling signs and all that sort of stuff, and you were dead quiet. Everybody stops what you're doing while they're filming. With everything for the B unit, which is all the stunts and all that, they weren't rolling sounds. Everybody was like much more relaxed.
Nice.
Don't get me wrong, it was still a fast pace, and there was still lots of like pressure you could tell on the other people. I was locations. I didn't feel any pressure. So,
From experience, I always prefer working on second unit.
Yeah.
When I'm lighting, it's like so much more chill.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
much calmer.
Absolutely. But yeah, you could definitely tell there was a vibe.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, what would have been your least favorite part about working on the movie?
Like for me, it's probably like just the sheer physical exhaustion at the end of the day, because it was going on all over the place. So I got to roam all over, but that was a long time on your feet. I was too nervous to actually talk to any of the cast. Rampage Jackson would like hold court with all the extras, and that guy was super charismatic. Sorry, I didn't hit the mic.
It's all good.
That guy was very charismatic, and I'm surprised I haven't seen him do more. Now, I did see him act in the movie, so perhaps that explains it, but he was so charismatic that, you know, he had those extras going. And then actually dealing with the extras, sometimes it felt, you know, for example, I was cleaning up, I'm sweeping up cigarette butts for where the extras were because they've been there for so long. And so there was a long time, so obviously it's a lot of waiting. Yeah. That's what movies are. You hurry up and wait, right? So it's been a long day. I'm super tired. I'm sweeping up cigarette butts. And the one extra is saying to the other extra, he's like, oh, this is so humiliating. As he's just sitting there smoking. And I'm like, I'm the one cleaning up your cigarette butts. If it's humiliating for you. But, and you could definitely tell there was a hierarchy, because this was my first time on set. I broke some rules because there was a cameraman who he went by, and there was obviously a smell of weed, so I cracked a joke. And then one's like, you can't make fun of camera. Your locations. Okay, then. That's how you learn. Like, okay.
Oh, that's fantastic.
What I couldn't get over, how good looking all the cameramen were. Like, they all looked like they came out of an LL Bean catalog.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very odd.
So. They all wear Arc'teryx now. I don't know if it was the same
okay.
at the time.
Yeah, that was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
No, the head makeup girl was an absolute knockout. And this is one of the reasons I didn't talk to the cast. So Liam Neeson was walking by, and he always had an entourage, so you could never sort of go up and say, hey. And I just didn't want to fanboy. I just want to be like, hey, I always liked your work. I wanted to say something to him, especially because I felt embarrassed the first time I saw him. My jaw just dropped. Like, so he's walking by. Now, this is only 6 months after his wife had passed. I feel like I should give this context. So he's walking by himself, and this absolutely stunning makeup girl goes to him. She looks at him as he's walking by, and she's like, hey. And he just stone face, just kept walking. Oh. Didn't acknowledge it at all. And again, that was not going to be my reproach with him, but I was just like, I can't say anything now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If this absolute knockout is like getting nothing from Liam Neeson, I am not going to, embarrass myself further and be like, hey.
Yeah.
And just have him stone face. So, and it's entirely possible that's just his process, right? Because he was definitely not as jokey as like Bradley Cooper or Rampage Jackson, right? Yeah. So.
Yeah, they had their rap party, or I guess the rap for Kamloops, because I don't know what order they filmed everything in, but they had a party at On the Rocks.
Oh, okay.
And a friend of mine was working there at the time, and so I think they closed down a little early and got everyone out, and then the cast and crew got the place. Nice. And I heard the same thing as you, is that Rampage was just holding court. Like, he was just the life of the party.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I used to be a massive UFC fan. So he was great on the mic. Like, whether he won or lost, he was so funny. So when I heard he was cast, I was like, I guess that makes sense. I'm like, I hope he can act. Like, if he can transfer what he does live on camera, it might work to varying degrees of success, I guess. We'll see. But you have seen the movie, I take it?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah? What'd you think of it?
You know what? I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't take it seriously because I remember the show from a kid, right? It was not a show to take seriously. I had a blast with it. My buddy who worked on it with me, he was a little embarrassed. But you know what? There's no feeling, and you probably can talk to this, where when you see the trailer for the first time, Like, I remember being in a theater and I had a date with me. I don't remember her name now because that's how well it went. But the best part was when the trailer came on, I'm like, I worked on that.
Yeah.
I didn't feel so hot at the end of the movie because the people it was a bunch of us who went to it and nobody was super impressed. I had a great time. It was also like there was 3 movies that year that had the same basic plot. You had the Expendables and you had the Losers and you had the A-Team, which were all basically
Yes.
Very similar plots. One of the movie forums that I'm on, I was talking with other guys who worked on other movies, and the guy who worked on Expendables, he just hated working for Stallone. He was like, he's like, I wished I worked on the A-Team.
That's all I've heard. That's all I've heard is that Stallone's not enjoyable.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you work on another film if given the opportunity?
I mean, I like to think so, but I genuinely thought like I couldn't do it full time. Mm-hmm. When I would talk to the other, because I wasn't working at the time that I got this job, and I was in between jobs, so I was always interested, like, hey, could I do that? But talking to some of the production guys, and the guy I was talking to had just worked on, I mean, it was a year and a half earlier or so, worked on X-Men: The Last Stand, and he was a huge movie lover. And that one kind of just killed it for him because they worked so hard on that movie, and then he just wasn't happy with the result. And then he's like, you know what? He's like, it is so much work. But I honestly thought, like, there's no way I could do that job 15, like literally the shortest day was 15 hours. And especially when we're out at Cache Creek, that extra hour and a half of commute.
Yep.
I was literally on 4 hours a night. I'm like, I would have a drug problem if I did this full time because that's the only way I could sustain it. You just couldn't go. And I was talking to the production guy. I'm like, so you make so much money, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to take the month off. He's like, no, you immediately need to look for your next job because there might not be one. He's like, so you can be 7 months in a row of just different jobs. He's like, but you need to do that because you don't know when you're going to eat next. And I'm not the type that can be just, I need to know where my paychecks come from.
Yeah. I'm with you there.
And then the 15-hour days, I just couldn't do.
Totally.
Yeah.
So you really enjoyed the experience, but that was good. Sweet.
Nice.
That's all I got.
Do you think, being on the production, do you think there's a place for productions like that to come to Kamloops more regularly?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, we have so much to offer around here. You can do so much varied terrain. Like, they came here because they can make it look like Mexico, and they did a convincing job. Actually, one of my favorite moments from that, I don't know how much time we've got, but
Lots.
one of my favorite moments was the scene when you first see the Jeep go by, and then it shows the hospital in the distance. And like, this is like, you're welcome to this hospital in Mexico. It sort of like sets the scene, like almost a master shot, basically. I was in that, hiding behind the building. So they were setting up the scene, and they had me go over and stand at different points, but they were hundreds of meters away. Because they're filming some so far back, but they wanted me to go over here and then go over there so they could get everything set up. And then they're like, okay, we're losing light. You need to get out of the frame. And then so I'm like moving. They're like, no, you need to run. Because like, we're losing light. You have to run right now. And they had me run like 100-meter dash behind the building. I'm trying to like, did they really need me to do that? Or did they just be like, hey, let's make this guy run? No, you can go faster. Come on, faster. But yeah, so there's one scene there. I'm cowering behind the building because I was all, they just made me rush out of the shot so they could get it.
Nice.
Yeah, we've agreed, like, watching a couple of the movies filmed around the area, we love how Kamloops has so much to offer. Like, you can come downtown, it can be an urban setting or just, 15 minutes out of town and you're in the middle, it looks like you're in the middle of a desert, Mexico or anywhere. So yeah, we really enjoy how Kamloops has so much to offer in differences for whatever filmmakers need.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Really good at being California as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times I'll see a movie, I'm like, I think that was filmed in Kamloops. And then I'll check, I'm like, no, it's California.
Well, it's funny because you can sort of tell. Like, I was watching, my wife wanted to watch Tracker, which I had no idea was actually filmed around here. Normally I sort of keep an eye out for that. And I looked at that, I'm like, that's outside of Kamloops. Yeah, I'm like, I could just tell. I'm like, okay. Yeah. And I looked it up. I was right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah. That's all the questions I had. So,
yeah. Well, thank you for joining us, Ryan. We really appreciate you giving us your time. I hope that you get to maybe work on another film in a smaller capacity, not 15-hour days. But thank you so much for giving us your time. We really enjoyed talking to you.
Sounds good. Thanks very much for bringing me out.
Awesome. Next up, I always forget. Next up is our cool facts about the film, which we'll take on now.
Welcome back from Peek Behind the Curtain. Very nice speaking to Ryan there, who got to be a PA on this movie here in Kamloops. Always nice to talk to some of the local guys that make these movies, guys and gals that make these movies.
He was awesome.
We have really lucked out with the people that we're getting to interview.
Yeah.
He was really, really fun to talk to.
He was super excited to talk. It was awesome to see.
Yeah. Awesome. So, jumping into cool facts.
Yeah.
My domain, once again.
Always.
First up, Charlton Copley.
Oh.
I'm so glad that, this was not planned. This was just my first one, and I'm so glad that it is. Charlton Copley's mom banned him from watching TheA-Team when he was a kid due to the violence of the series. He would use a tape recorder hidden behind the TV to record the audio of the show while his parents would watch it. And then when they went to bed and he was supposed to be in bed, he would listen back to the tape recorded audio of TheA-Team. When he got the part, he called his mother and let her know that he was taking the part to get back at her for not letting him watch the show.
Cool.
I love that. Obviously, it's not going to hit the same for you, but I enjoyed that. I got all of that out of the IMDb trivia section for this page. Goldmine. If you're looking for trivia on a movie, it's a goldmine for this movie. I was very impressed.
Sweet.
Yeah. You want to move on?
Quickly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Bradley Cooper took weapons training for this film so seriously that he was able to reload his M4 rifle in less than 4 seconds. There was a shot that showcased this talent, which was cut from the film.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the Val Kilmer and Heat story?
No.
Okay. So have you seen Heat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
Spectacular film. So the big LA shootout downtown. Spoilers for a film 30 years old.
Okay.
The big shootout when they're being I can't remember what arm of the armed forces, but they use his loading and reloading of his weapon as a training video for them.
Wow.
That's how good he got at it.
Nice.
Yeah. And if you watch it, I don't know what a good load or reload looks like, but when you watch Val Kilmer do it on screen, you don't ever doubt for a moment that that character used to be in the armed forces.
Nice.
But
Yeah.
I wish I could remember exactly which branch does that, but I remember reading that in the trivia that his is so smooth and so perfect that they use it for their training.
I'm sure this would have helped out Bradley Cooper later on in American Sniper.
Yes.
Yeah. But unfortunately.
And the fake baby.
And the fake baby?
You don't know the fake baby story of American Sniper? Have you seen it?
No. Oh, the movie? Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm back on track. I thought you were saying there's a movie called Fake Baby.
That Bradley Cooper's in?
Yeah. I was like, okay. After he became famous? Sure. Moving on. So, this one you might enjoy a little bit more.
Probably not.
The original cast under director John Singleton was Mel Gibson as Hannibal.
John Singleton was going to do an A-Team movie?
He was going to do an A-Team movie.
Oh.
He originally had this.
I'm on board.
And they were set.
Don't get me wrong. I like Joe Carnahan somewhat. His movie Narc is chef's kiss amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Smoking Aces is... I've only seen it once. I remember being...
I like it. Yeah.
And then this... Have I seen another Joe Carnahan movie? I don't know. Anyways, John Singleton. Okay, this was his cast?
This was his cast. Okay.
You're probably gonna break my heart.
Wow, okay. So John Singleton directs.
Okay.
Hannibal is Mel Gibson.
Oh my god, I love it already. I love it already.
Okay. Face, Christian Bale.
Oh, this is incredible.
Murdoch. Let's leave it.
What?
Let's leave it for now. B.A. Baracus. Dwayne Johnson.
No, boo.
Yeah, I knew you wouldn't like that.
No, boo.
All right, now hold your horses.
Okay.
Murdoch. Jim Carrey.
Oh, you couldn't have picked anybody better. Like, he's... Oh. Even with Dwayne Johnson in there, that movie would have been incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. That makes me so sad.
I'm pretty sure somewhere in the rumor mill, Mahershala Ali was also considered for B.A. Baracus. Something like that. But
he's such a great actor. I'm sure he could have done it, but I need somebody with that.
You need
presence.
the physicality, yeah. There were 2 more people under John Singleton considered for Murdoch that I've written down.
Okay.
They are Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
Woody.
That's different.
It's a different character.
Yeah. He's not... I'm not going to get Jim Carrey out of my head. That's such great casting.
It's great.
Okay.
The other one, Woody Harrelson.
No.
No? I can see it. Jim Carrey is...
Yeah, sure.
Jim Carrey's better, though, for sure.
A
better fit.
I'm going to be racking my brain for a B.A. Baracus.
It's tough.
Idris Elba?
Yeah. It's a good one. It's just tough because Mr. T is like so freaking good.
Yeah.
As that character. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Anyway.
Mel Gibson, Jim Carrey. Oh, it would have been so good. I'm so sad.
It's funny. I'm used to you not liking Jim Carrey's comedic performances.
Yeah, but he's perfect for this role.
He's perfect.
Literally perfect for this role.
Yeah. Okay. So, this one I think you'll like a lot. You probably already know this.
I did no research.
I love you for that so much.
I want to do no research because I want to have these kind of surprises.
Yeah. I still think that you might already know about this.
Oh, okay.
Regardless of research.
All right.
Because this film almost caused Quentin Rampage Jackson to quit his fighting career.
Yes, it did.
Yep.
Yes.
So this movie conflicted with his fight against Rashad Evans.
Sure did.
Yeah. And he chose to cancel originally that fight in favor of acting in this movie.
Yes, he did.
Which led to him getting into a screaming match with Dana White.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
I actually remember this. I knew this, but I'd forgotten.
Nice.
Now I'm super excited because this is, well, not the hype, but like I was a big UFC fan for about 12 to 15 years.
Yeah.
Where I would say over like a 10 to 12 year span, I maybe missed 5 cards. If that.
Yeah.
If that. Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, you obviously know a little bit about this, but after the screaming match, Jackson went to his website and updated it saying that he is done with fighting.
I remember that. I was so sad.
Direct quote, done with fighting.
Yes.
Ultimately, he did return to the UFC to fight Rashad Evans after filming. Obviously, everything got smoothed over somehow. But yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's always money.
Yep.
But, regardless, he lost the fight.
Sure did.
What was it? Unanimous decision?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was dominated.
Yeah, okay. But...
it's because he has no wrestling defense.
Okay.
Don't get into my UFC nerddom now.
Interesting. But yeah, props to him for returning and finishing the fight, I would say. And but also, I respect wanting to make an acting career happen.
Well, yeah, you can make really good money and not take physical damage.
Yeah, 100%. So
you don't have brain trauma for the rest of your life. That's a pretty easy decision if you can make it work.
Yeah, from a moviegoer's perspective, I like how he went about everything. I think stays strong and does what he wants to do, but also ends up doing the fight, gets paid for it, does the movie, gets paid for it. I respect that immensely. So yeah, I thought that was a really cool tidbit, especially for you though.
Yeah, like I'm conflicted on stuff like this because especially for UFC fighters, they are so underpaid. Like, they are professional athletes whose fights are on ESPN, the same sports channel that carries the NFL and the NHL and the MLB and all the professional athletes, and they are so underpaid. There are guys on the opening fights that I make more money than, and they are on national television. And they're on pay-per-view cards, and I make more money than them, and that is sad. And I'm not putting my health at risk like they are. So that's really unfortunate. So when they build up and they get a chance to earn their money, I'm excited for them as people. As a fan of the sport, I hate it because I want Quentin Jackson to fight. Yeah. I want to see him fight. So I was very conflicted. It's the same thing. Like, I was going a huge tangent, but when Conor McGregor left the UFC to go box, everyone was angry, and I was very angry because he was a champion in 2 divisions. So thanks for holding up those divisions. But he went and made $100 million.
Yeah.
That's a pretty easy decision to make. And it made him even more famous despite him losing, which the very idea that people thought he actually had a shot at winning is mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made a lot of easy money. I took a lot of bets because people are stupid.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you know nothing about the sport of boxing, or you think that someone that has never had a professional bout could beat one of the greatest defensive boxers in the history, who has never been knocked out, has never lost.
Yeah.
And Conor McGregor, a UFC fighter, is going to beat him. Okay. Anyways.
Well, I'm happy for you.
Yeah, me too.
I have one more cool fact.
I'm excited for it.
So, when Face first meets Lieutenant Sosa at the beginning of the movie, not first meets, but first sees in the context of the film.
Sitting in the waiting pool?
Yes. Yeah. He asks if she stole his Steely Dan CD. The ringtone for the drop phone that he gives her later in the movie is Reelin' in the Years by Steely Dan.
Nice.
Yeah. I like that. I'm not a huge Steely Dan guy. Don't know much about him, but I like when they do stuff like that.
Pretty sure Steely Dan isn't a person. It's a band.
Okay, there you go. Shows how much I know.
Just like Jethro Tull isn't a person, it's a band.
Didn't know that either.
Cool.
Learning today. Anyway, those are all my cool facts.
Nice, I love them.
Yeah, thank you.
Except for the first one, but all the other ones were awesome.
The first one is like my favorite one.
No, it's my least favorite.
Anyway, I will be the first to admit I'm letting people down a little bit right now.
Okay.
This is usually our small town impact kind of section. This film was made here in such a short amount of time, and it's such a small part of the movie. It's incredibly difficult to find information here. And avid listeners / viewers will know that we typically reach out to the Thompson-Nicola Film Commission for a little extra help in this section. This episode came together a little too quickly, and I was not able to get the usual help from them because it was too last minute.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, no, like they're awesome, and
Yes.
their facts are killer. So it's sad that we were too rushed this time to be able to get them, but their continued support has been amazing.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't think we need to worry about it too much in regards to it, it is unfortunate. It's just counts as such a small part of this movie.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. I thought more of this movie was filmed in our area than it was, which it saddened me to discover that.
I have a replacement.
I love it.
I've made you a small quiz.
Oh.
Yes.
That would have been a nice heads up, but whatever.
Nope, not happening.
Okay.
On the spot. For everyone listening / viewing, 100% on the spot for Manny. True or false? These are easy. They're quick and easy. Don't worry too much. Bradley Cooper was photographed swimming in Kamloops Lake.
In Kamloops Lake? Mm-hmm. That's got to be true.
It's false.
Okay.
I made it up.
All right.
Yep.
It was like they were filming out in that general area.
Yep.
Okay.
That's why I did it.
Okay.
So you're 0 for 1.
Huh. Everybody is so happy right now.
Which 3 Thompson-Nicola towns / cities
Okay.
were used in the Mexico sequences?
Kamloops, Ashcroft, and Clearwater. No, Cache Creek, sorry.
Correct. We'll give you that.
Okay.
You corrected yourself.
I did correct myself.
Well done.
Yeah.
Last one. Deciding one.
Oh, man, that's a lot of pressure.
Big pressure.
Okay, not a fan.
The scene where the A-Team lands the tank in a lake was in fact shot at Kamloops Lake.
What?
And they CGI'd the mountainous background because of a conflict with an Alberta park, which refused to allow the movie to shoot.
Ask me if that's true or false?
True or false?
False.
It is false.
Okay.
It was shot in Cold Lake.
Okay, I was going to say, I'm like, there's no way.
No, I was hoping there was another Liam Neeson movie called The Grey, where that whole controversy with an Alberta park happened.
Okay.
And they kicked them out.
All
Didn't
right.
kick them out. Didn't allow them to film.
Okay.
I was hoping I might confuse you on
I
that.
was like, when I was looking, I'm like, there's no way that was Counts Lake.
It sounded so cool though, right?
It did. I was like, you actually have me thinking that might be true, but no.
If I had just said Cooney Bay, would it have been more believable?
I don't know what Cooney Bay is.
Okay, it's a part of Kamloops Lake.
Okay.
Yeah, by Tronquil.
All right.
Never mind. Well, that's all I've got.
Nice.
You passed the quiz.
Not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad.
All right.
All right.
Everybody was hoping I'd fail, though.
I was.
I guarantee you, I don't think anybody was cheering me on.
Nobody hears somebody taking a quiz and thinks, I want you to do well. Ever. You watch game shows and you don't want them to win.
I do.
Sometimes.
All the time.
Yeah.
I want them to be like they're playing for money.
Okay,
Like, some of them are
maybe
playing
a
for,
bad
like,
example. You're right. My bad.
Some of them are playing for like life-changing money. I'm like, I want them to get. It makes me happy for this people. Yeah.
Interesting. Character development for Manny.
I've always been that way. You need character development because you're cheering against people. You're an evil person.
Well, some of them kind of suck.
No, you suck.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is also true.
Okay. Anyways, What's up?
Let's rate this movie.
Okay. I guess I'm going first.
I guess you are going first.
It's a 2.
A 2.
2. 2.
So unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. I was hoping for a lot more, but I knew I wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
It's a 2. There's some things that I enjoy, obviously, with Bradley Cooper being... In regards to the movie itself, we did list our 5 favorite things, but a couple of them are so small, they're not going to affect the rating of my movie.
Yeah.
But Bradley Cooper is, like I said, the best thing. The casting is spot on. Now my heart's broken knowing what we could have had if John Singleton had had a chance to make the movie.
I'm not sure exactly what happened in between the two directors. I think it's a different script, a different story, if I'm remembering correctly.
Probably.
Yeah.
Plus, like, Mel Gibson and Jim Carrey alone is close to, conservatively, we're talking 2009.
Mm-hmm.
That's
2010.
about... No, that's when it was released. So
Oh,
they're
okay.
making it in 2009.
Sorry. My bad.
Did you just roll your eyes at me?
Well-
Did you just roll your eyes at me when you know how movies are made? Wow.
I just cut you off before I really knew what you were saying, and that's on me.
Okay.
Yeah.
The salaries for just those two has got to be close to 30 to 40 million.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's...
It's a tougher movie to make,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Would have been better.
The Rock wouldn't have been that expensive yet.
Not at that time.
Not at that time.
Not like he is now, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he's still making bad movies.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, it's a 2.
Okay.
It's a 2.
It's 3.5 for me.
What?
Yeah. I was dangerously close to giving it a 4. I just had way too much fun. I had way, way too much fun to not give it that kudos. So
I'm gobsmacked.
I am glad. That makes me happy.
A 3.5?
Yep.
Wow.
7 out of 10 for those math inclined.
We need to watch movies together more often, like in the same room. I need to see you enjoying these films.
Maybe one day we'll have the time.
This is-
That would be nice.
Mind-boggling to me.
I enjoyed it. Oriana was there. Like,
Ugh.
I had people there to verify this. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Wow. It's clearly, like, it's not one of the greats. It's not getting a 4. It almost did, though. because it was like a personal grate for just a second.
We need to move on.
Okay. In that case, episode's done. So thank you for listening / watching. If you would like to reach out, interact with us at all, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Small Town Big Screen. You can find us on Twitter which is also known as X, at STBS_pod. You can find us on Reddit at the same. If none of those social medias appeal to you, you can reach out to us directly at our email at smalltownbigscreen.pod@gmail.com.
So, for Small Town Big Screen, I'm Manny Manuel.
And I'm Kyle Robertson.
Adios!